jolt and then you'll die.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going through all of the shortcuts for Snowy Valley with a 4-power club. So I'm going to show you all the best shortcuts for all of the holes. We're going to be using the Shiver club, so we got 4 power, 3 accuracy, and 1 guideline. So hopefully you enjoyed this one. We'll show you all the best shortcuts, and yeah, let's jump straight on into it. Starting with the 3 hole-in-one holes. So we're starting off with tip, tip, tip. This one, it's in the name. All you got to do is do a hard yellow and hit the very tip of that triangle piece of wood, and it should pop you straight in for the hole-in-one. Next is Ain't No Barrier. So this one's the hardest hole-in-one. You want it about a middle green, just at the start of that snow pile, and as long as you don't fall off with the snow barrier, should be good. And probably the easiest hole-in-one is the ice skating rink. You just do a little bit more than a soft yellow. You can ice skate all the way into the hole. So now for the hole-in-twos, which there are plenty of, starting with keeping on the flat. So instead of going through the middle and then over the hump, you just want to bank it off this wall, hit the tip of that triangle, and it's going to bring you over here perfectly. You can get a much easier hole-in-two. So with a hard green, look how much easier that is. Now we go into the palace. So if you're on the front 3 spots on the right side, you can actually bank it off this right piece of wood, get straight into the palace and just tap it in. Otherwise you just have to inch it up and hope for the best. Next is the Seagull. First shot straight forward, you just get it through the loop. And the second shot, you want to do the tightest angle. You fly up like a seagull, swoop down and into the hole-in-two occasionally. Next is the Criss Cross. Pretty straightforward, but a good shortcut. You just bank it off the piece of wood. You can skip that entire section, crisscross over here, do a hard yellow, and usually you can get a hole-in-two quite often. So next is the Fidget Spinner. You just want to fire it red to the left here, and it's going to bring you up perfectly. And then you can just do a hard green into the bearing of the Fidget Spinner straight into the hole. Got the hops. This one, there's 2 ways to go. The main way is just to yellow it onto this first platform, and then depending on where you are, about a middle to a hard yellow, and it should just bank you in for a nice hole-in-two. But occasionally, if you're in a good spot, you can sometimes just fire it straight over to this other platform, just like this. And if you make it, you can just tap it in for a hole-in-three, but it is a little bit risky, depends on your starting spot, so probably not worth it. Now the double bank. Nice easy hole. First one is a soft orange, and the second bank is just a hard green just before that moving ice board, the tip of the wood, and it brings you in for a nice easy hole-in-two. Now the easy hole you just do on hard green, meet in the busy intersection, and then about a middle to hard yellow, aim it up and it should be fine. Aye aye, Captain. This one's just like a captain's cutlass, so follow his orders, bank it off that piece of wood, then from here you just do a bit more than a soft yellow at the piece of tip of wood, and it brings you in for a hole-in-two. The left lane. This one you just fire off the left side of that triangle, and it's going to bring you over into the left lane, and from here you can just do a hard orange, not quite at the tip, but just about, and it should bring you in for the hole-in-two. Christmas tree is a hard hole-in-two, but it is possible. You want to do a bit more than a soft orange at the very tip, and from here you can go past the Christmas tree, and if you're very lucky, you can get a hole-in-two. Otherwise, it's usually a hole-in-three. This one you just want to do a soft yellow, make sure you don't fall off, and then from here you just got to gap it through, do a hard yellow just before that pile of snow, and it should bank you in for a nice hole-in-two. Now for the hole-in-threes. Starting off with so many ways, and there really are so many ways to go on this hole, but the easiest one is just to bank it off the right wall. You can skip that whole section, then do a soft orange off this piece of wood. going to set you up nicely, and you can just fire it over the ramp and quite often get a hole in 3. Now for the broken gate. This one you just want to fire it red at the start of that pile of snow there. It's going to get you through the broken gate and just round the loop for a nice easy hole in 3. But there are some spots where that's not possible, you can't get through the gate, so you have to take a hole in 4. Now for the floor is lava. This one you just do a soft orange through there. It's going to bring you up here, and you have to tap it up this tiny ramp just to the middle there. And that's going to allow you to skip the lava floor and just pop you in for a hole in 3. A 2 is possible, but it's very difficult. It's not worth it, so it's better to just tap it up the ramp and guarantee a 3 or a 4. So where's the force? Do a soft yellow. It's going to bring you up here. And then you can just fire it over that triangle thing, but there's no force, so you can't get a hole in 2 unless you got a firepower club. This one's all about precision. Starting off with a very tip of that angled piece of wood. Then make sure you get it through that hole. And once again, be precise. Hit just before the triangle tip with a soft orange, and it brings you in for a hole in 3. So spring's coming. There's 2 different starting spots for this hole. If you're on this side, you just want to do a middle green up to the top of this ramp. Then from here you can just fire it through that loop-de-loop. It looks a bit hard, but it's actually quite easy. And then you can just tap it in for a nice hole in 3. And if you're on the other side, it's more difficult to make the 3, but it is still possible. You just do a middle to hard yellow. And then if you get the right angle, you can just go around this half pipe. And once again, in for a hole in 3, past the drying up snow, because spring is on the way. So for the Titanic, you just want to do a soft orange off the back of that moving ice thingy-majig. And that's going to bring you perfectly in front of the ramp every single time. From here you can just fire it over the Titanic. And then about a hard yellow should usually bring you in for a hole in 3. Roll in, please, roll in. This one is fairly straightforward. You just want to do an orange, hard orange off that. Then you can set you up perfectly. You can bank it off this triangle. And the last shot's the hardest. You got a bit of prey, skip those moving things, and please roll in. There we go. And the last hole in 3 is the traffic light. So the colors match. You just want to do about a hard orange or a soft red off that right side. Then from here down to a yellow, hard soft orange maybe. And then finally green is go. And the last one, the hole in 4, only hole in 4 of Snowy Valley, is the Boredom. Very boring hole, nothing much to it, no shortcuts. You just got to follow it through, bang it off the right wall. From here you just do a hard green up to the top, so you get past that wood. Then I just like to bank it off the right side, and you can get as far as possible and just tap it in for an easy hole in 4. There we go guys, that is all of the Snowy Valley holes with a 4-power club. In my opinion, they're all the best shortcuts. Hopefully this helped you out. If it did, make sure to like and subscribe. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.